So if you're working as a health, fitness, or wellness professional, the odds are pretty high that you're going to run into clients that are dealing with a loss of appetite. And a loss of appetite has the ability to create some health problems on its own, but even more importantly, that loss of appetite can be a sign of things that are going wrong in the body. And these are things that you can help those clients improve. And if you can help those clients improve the underlying cause of that loss of appetite, then you can actually help them improve a wide variety of other issues as well. So it can be a really big deal. So in this video, I'm going to help you understand 4 underlying causes for a loss of appetite and steps you can take to help your clients improve those issues. Let's jump in.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So the number one and the most common cause that can create a loss of appetite for your clients is a lack of stomach acid. Even if a client isn't taking a medication that can turn off stomach acid, it's really common today for people not to be making enough stomach acid. And when a client eats food, their stomach should make hydrochloric acid, or HCl. And this HCl is meant to help us acidify and break down that food so that we can get the nutrients out of that food. But if a person is not making enough hydrochloric acid, then that food has to break down by process of rotting and fermenting. And that rotting and fermenting can create chemicals and toxins and gases and can create a lot of discomfort, even nausea for that client. So basically, that nausea or that lack of appetite can be viewed as a signal from the body saying, hey, don't send anything else down here. We're still dealing with the mess that came from the last stuff that you sent down here. So how long that person has a loss of appetite can depend on the ability of the stomach to digest that food without the proper level of stomach acid. So that process normally takes a lot longer, so their lack of appetite could last as long as it takes for that food to move through the stomach. Once the food moves out, they may gain their appetite again, but it can just take a lot longer when there's not enough stomach acid there to acidify the food the way that it should be acidified. Cause number 2 is poor bile flow. Bile is this soapy substance that's made by our liver, and then it's stored in the gallbladder. And the gallbladder's job is to store and concentrate that bile. So then once that acidic food leaves the stomach and goes into the duodenum, which is the first 10 inches of the small intestine, that's when the gallbladder will squirt this alkaline bile down to help neutralize those acids. So when we have this acidic product leaving the stomach and it meets with this alkaline bile, when those opposite pHs collide, it creates like a sizzle. And that sizzle is what helps us bust that food apart and really get all the nutrients out of that food. Another big thing with bile is that bile is what we use to help us emulsify or break down our dietary fats. So if someone's eating dietary fats and they don't have enough bile flow to help properly break down those dietary fats, then those fats are not getting digested. They can become rancid and toxic, and then the body's like, well, what do I do with all this? I can't really use it because it wasn't digested correctly. So now the person's really going to feel lousy because they have all these undigested fats turning rancid, and the body might try to rush them out the back door or push them out through the pores in the skin and create skin or acne type issues. But the main thing is that it's very common for that person to feel nauseous when all these undigested fats are creating all this gook and junk in the body. To make matters worse, bile has an entire other function. So when the liver filters junk and toxins out of the body, it puts a lot of those toxins into our bile, because the bile should carry those toxins down into the intestinal tract so those toxins can be carried out the back door through our stool. The problem is, if someone's bile becomes too thick and sticky to flow correctly, which is very common, and if it becomes too thick and sticky to flow, then it will stay in the gallbladder where it continues to concentrate until it concentrates into sludge or even eventually stones. But if that bile is not flowing, then those toxins are not being sent down to the intestinal tract and they don't go out the back door. So now the body's main detox pathway is not working the way that it's supposed to work. So now those toxins get re-assimilated into the system, the liver has to filter them out all over again, and then eventually the liver gets overwhelmed, and so the system becomes toxic. And with all these toxins in the system, the person's going to feel nauseous and the body's going to be like, don't see anything else down here, we just can't deal with it, and they can really lose their appetite for an extended period of time. And cause number 3 is just digestive malfunction. So whether a person has a low amount of stomach acid, or their bile is not flowing correctly, or it's both. In any case, we need both of those sides of digestion working correctly, or we can't get all the minerals and nutrients out of the food that we're eating. Well, this can be problematic for your clients because we need minerals to be able to make hydrochloric acid. So if the body's not breaking the food down correctly, it's not getting enough minerals to be able to make the hydrochloric acid so they can break down the food correctly. So it becomes this chicken or egg, like which thing broke first kind of problem, and we don't always get to know the answer. But what we need to understand is that if either side is not working correctly, we really need to help them improve that issue so that they can break their food down and get the nutrients out of that food so that they have the resources so that the body can have that hydrochloric acid function. Because it's this acidic product leaving the stomach that actually triggers these other parts of digestion to happen. It triggers the alkaline bile to come down. It triggers the pancreas to squirt bicarb and all these enzymes down that help us digest our food. So when that stomach acid isn't there, a lot of these other processes are not getting triggered, and then the whole digestive process is really malfunctioning. So if we understand that this digestive process takes more resources than just about anything that a person is going to do, you can see that when those resources are low due to poor digestion, that the body might send this signal of, hey, don't send more stuff down here because I don't have the resources to break all that down. So to keep that from happening all the time, I'm just going to send this signal of, hey, I'm not hungry. Don't give me anything else, and the person can really lose their appetite. Cause number 4 for a loss of appetite is some type of infection. You know, if you get a cold, a lot of times you're just not hungry, and it's because a lot of the body's resources are going towards fighting off this invader. So the body might not have enough resources left over to go towards that digestive process, so it just turns off that signal to send more food in. Now, if this infection happens to be in the digestive tract, like in the stomach, like in the form of H. pylori, or maybe in the small intestine, like SIBO, all the cool kids have SIBO now, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And if there's an overgrowth in that digestive tract, that can really magnify this whole loss of appetite situation. So, especially if there's an infection in the stomach, a lot of the waste product from these bacteria are alkaline. And so, if they're alkalizing that stomach even further, they're reducing the ability for them to acidify the food so that they can break that food down. And if that bacteria is further down the line in the small intestine, that alkaline waste can still alkalize that area and slow down the pace at which that food moves through the system, which can create things like constipation and reduce the ability for the body to absorb the nutrients in those foods. Not to mention that all of that waste from that bacteria can increase the toxicity of the system and increase a person's, nausea or just their whole loss of appetite. So you can see there's a wide variety of issues that can create this loss of appetite from client to client. It's not going to be the same thing for each client. They may have different magnified problems that are really creating their loss of appetite. So it's really about looking at the client and understanding which of these steps we need to help them fix. Do we need to help them fix their lack of stomach acid? Do we need to help them thin out their bile so that it can flow correctly? Or is it a combination of both of those things? Or are there invaders in that digestive tract that are reducing the ability to assimilate nutrients in the food? A lot of times it's that lack of stomach acid that let these bacteria in the first place. When we eat food and bacteria comes in, they should die in an acid bath. It's that stomach acid that should fry them so that they can't come in and set up camp and have a keg party and raise their kids and have a great time. So you can see that there's a circle situation here of needing digestion to allow everything to function correctly and needing everything to function correctly so that we can get the nutrients and minerals out of the food so that that digestive process can function correctly. But by helping clients fix those 3 areas, you can help them improve their loss of appetite. Now, if you don't understand how to help someone improve their lack of stomach acid or improve bile flow or take care of a bacterial overgrowth, my book, Health Pro Results, chapters 3 and 4, walk you through that process of helping clients figure out which aspects of digestion are not working correctly and what steps they can take to improve those. And the book is available on Amazon, but I'm going to put a link in the description below so you can get the whole thing totally for free. And if you happen to be a consumer that clicked on this video just because you wanted to learn about loss of appetite stuff, then my book, Kick Your Fat in the Nuts, chapters 3 and 4 of that book can walk you through similar issues, and it's a little more appropriate for consumers. It's not really geared towards health professionals like the other book. So I'll put a link so you can get that one for free if you're a consumer in the description below this video as well. So right now, if you want to learn more about the steps it takes to help clients improve digestive malfunctions, jump over and check out our video on helping clients improve digestive symptoms. I can't wait to hear about your results.